Welcome to the On Purpose podcast. Today I have a honored guest. It's my husband, Dennis, and he's here to tell his Earthwaking story. And so first, Dennis, where did you grow up?
In a small town. Actually, it was out in the nestled between cornfields, like 7 miles away from Napanee, Indiana.
And how was it like out there? Like growing up, what was it like?
Um, and can you give me a little bit more context, like the question? Like it's a really broad question, and I don't know where you want to go from here.
Well, how was it like growing up in Indiana? Like, take us into the world of where you grew up, your family, and
Yeah, so growing up, as a kid, my parents would drive a horse and buggy, and during the week we'd be doing things. It depended on the season. Like in Indiana, we had 4 seasons. We had spring, summer, fall, and winter, and so every season had a different world in it. And I remember as a child, like my favorite season was the summer and the springtime, mostly the spring, when we would get, it was just, there was like a freshness, like the grass would start turning green, we'd start mowing the lawn. And my mom had a really big garden. We had an orchard. Um, and we always had horses. And then at the age of 7, my dad bought a goat farm with, I think initially we had like 70 goats, and we were milking, like dairy milking them, like at least 30 of them. And then there was one point where we had over 100 head, and we milked really close to 50, I think. And so there was always things to do. Like, if I wasn't going to school, I would be uh, daily chores, feeding the horses, feeding the giving them hay, making sure they had water. And and then you have the spring, which that would require getting the ground ready, tilling the garden, um, mowing, and so that was 5 to 6 days a week. And then every Sunday we would go to church with the horse and buggy. And we'd go to town probably once a week, or we go to the grocery store that was a couple miles away from where I lived. And I just remember, like, compared to when I left, like it was a very slow, the world seemed to be going really slow. Like everything was slower. Because then with the horse and bug, you're not going to be going um 60 miles an hour. Like it's more like 10, 12 miles an hour. So they're just present to a lot more. And so yeah, as the seasons change, like in the summertime, there was always like pasture to mow, and we would uh, be buying hay, so we'd be putting up hay for the wintertime. Um, and for fun, like we went fishing, we went camping. My dad was a big fisherman, and at actually when I was 15, I remember I would go over to our neighbors had a TV, and my parents would let me go over and watch TV. My dad actually subscribed to this magazine called Bassmaster Classic, and it was these bass fishermen that were making a living off of fishing. And like growing up, I went to a one room schoolhouse where there was only like 30 kids. And I remember I was like, dang, like this is a way out. Like I saw the fishing as a way to um that I could bring in abundance doing something that I love doing. Because I did not want to do what my dad was doing. He would, as a child, as a kid, um, I didn't really get to spend much quality time with him other than when we went fishing. And we did a lot of fishing, like in my later teen years, 12 to, well, then I bought a vehicle and I would just, we'd go all the time when I had my vehicle. I would just, because then we wouldn't have to pay for a taxi. And so, yeah, it was a really simple life and a lot of physical activity too, like doing things with their hands. Different stages of the season. Like during the summer, for example, we would be weeding the garden. We'd be taking care of the plants that were growing up, and raking soil onto the potatoes and starting to harvest. Like I remember the first harvest would be beans and peas and then strawberries. Actually, I think the strawberries might have been earliest. And so yeah, it was a really just a lot going on, like a lot. And
You said you went to church on Sundays.
yes,
What was your culture?
I was born into an Amish family, and so yeah, it was really um, it was like growing the. If I would articulate it, I feel like it would be like growing up in a box or in like there's constraints everywhere around you when you're in that culture. And yeah, that's how I would articulate that.
And so let's go a little bit further down the line. There's Rumspringa. And so what was the choice that you made in that time frame of your life?
Yeah, so Rumspringa is when in the Amish communities, it's a time that you get to go explore what is outside of the community. And um, it's a testing of the waters of whether someone wants to stay in the Amish community and join the church or to leave and to not be a member. And for different communities, it's different. Like some communities, they will shun you and excommunicate you. And I have known people like in the state of Iowa and Ohio where they couldn't even drive their vehicles home to their parents. They couldn't even wear what the Amish call worldly clothes home to their families. And for me, I grew up like I was very fortunate. Was born into a very loving family, and like so from that perspective, I was very fortunate. And I lived at home until the age of, I mean, 26. I was very codependent on my mom and my parents. And it was interesting because during that time, like I was building, I was taking actions that I didn't see my dad take, like from the age of 19 to 27. Like I was doing everything I could that I knew to exit the matrix or to become wealthy, like level two consciousness. Like I was very motivated. I was like do or die. Like I'm not going to be like my dad and work 40 out, 40 years in the factory. Like fuck that. And so I spent and I know this might sound like justifying, but I really took to heart that phrase in scripture where it says you build your house, you build your foundation first. And that's what I was looking at doing. And it just kept biting me in the ass because of my conditioning and my programming. And then, I would come home and share with my parents and my siblings what I was doing and my other people around me. And they were like, oh, you're doing that thing? Like, that's a scam and you're never going to succeed and all this. So I did network marketing. And then I did that until 24. Yes, like around the age of 24, 19 to 24. And, and then I did real estate as well. So, uh, for the next 3 years.
So, how
Um,
did you get in contact with Earthwaking? What's that? What was that story?
yeah, I'd like to go back a little bit on like when I was 19, if that's okay. And then I want to
Yeah,
lead up to that.
yeah.
So when I was 19, my cousin, she was in a company called Amway, which is very like known all around the world, right? And she gave me a book called um, it was a book by Jim Stovall called I don't remember the name right now. It's gonna come to me. And another one was Winning by Vince Lombardi. And when I read these books, it opened up like it sparked something. Like it was like it lit a fire within my soul.
Was it Think and Grow Rich?
No, that came later.
Oh, okay. Okay, keep going.
Yeah, Jim Stovall. I could look him up. And anyways, so I started going to seminars. And I remember that first year when I was 19, I read like 36 books because I was just so hungry. I'm like, holy shit, like my culture didn't teach me about these things. And there's actually good people out here in the world that are not going to hell. And so I went down that road. Like I was literally about to join the Amish church at the age of 19 when I feel like God just dropped those books into my life and it lit me up. And so I started going to a seminar like every month for the next 2 to 3 years. And I remember the one year I spent like $15,000 on seminars, books, and audios, and my parents, they were like fucking just they couldn't believe it. And I knew in the long term it was going to pay off. And so um I did, like I said, network marketing until 27, and then I started doing real estate. I bought 3 houses, and then I partnered up with an Amish guy that we started buying homes on, or actually, it was kind of so we started doing short sales was one income stream, and then the other one was like so the in the 2008 financial crisis, what the people that investigated that crisis was they found that none of those banks actually had the mortgages in their like they were illegitimate mortgages. Like they did the mortgage and then they shredded the mortgage, so there was no proof that any of these mortgages even existed. So the debt that these homeowners had were null and void. And so my business partner and I, we partnered up with this company in Colorado that was actually taking action on um, taking legal steps to um, show the banks that they had no legal right to foreclose on these properties that they were trying to foreclose on. And so that's another income stream that we were doing. And so um, in 2016, we got sued for practicing law without an attorney's license. And I remember we got notified that we got to spend 5 days straight in front of, or no, it was 3 days, 3 days straight in front of a federal judge. And we had like 13 houses that we had filed a skeleton bankruptcy on, and they were doing like a discovery and seeing what they could find. And so that ended up opening up a world for me where I went into the legal world and kind of like what's going on here with I got into the sovereignty movement. And I got involved with the militia because Obama was president at that time. And I just saw that I saw behind the veil, and I'm like, this is absolutely not right. Like it's so corrupt. And um, but I got really involved in the sovereign movement. And one of my friends I remember he got put into prison for like a year and a half. And it was a reality check for me. It really woke me up to the actions and the road that I was on. Like I was like, I can either fight these guys or I can go and just use the system that they have and um, work with that to create abundance and use that to then propel me onwards, you know. And so, anyways, and so after that opened up, like I got kind of depressed, and I just didn't really like after that lawsuit. It didn't that inspiration that I had just it went away. Like they sued my partner and I for $140,000, and it just made me sick. Like it made me sick about the system. It made me sick that they're doing what they're doing to these homeowners and to just it was just it made me aware that what's actually like more of what's going on in the world. And so at the age of 27, I found psychedelics. I had never done any drugs ever until the age of 27. And up until this point, I've been reading books and like self development and really like working on my ego. And so I found psychedelics and it opened up a whole nother world for me. Like it was like it finally made sense. And I actually like felt like I had some really like godlike connections, like connecting with God on a level that I had never done before. And but then I got into a relationship. My superhero lured in the super victim, and it was a dynamic that just it also it so she had third-degree burns at one point, and I was taking care of her while uh, working a job, and it was just there was a lot going on, and she had Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is like a degenerative disorder. And so I was working at a factory and paying off for all her medical bills, and it also it allowed me to see behind the medical system. And then I started doing drugs at this like at the age of 27 when I met this woman, and I spiraled. Like I just fucking spiraled. And at the age of 31, 33, like the first two couple years weren't too bad, but it got really crazy. And then at the age of I finally got a restraining order on her, and that's when I'm like, I need to do something different. Like I was doing a lot of drugs, trying to cover up the pain I felt, and during this time, I had my gallbladder removed, so I had a lot of anger that was like, just that I was holding on to and not letting go. And so back to your question about earthwaking. So I moved in with my brother after I actually, and this is also the time that Corona or the pandemic hit. And so it was just like these fucking awakenings, like one after the other. And so the pandemic hit, and this was right around the time that I put a restraining order on Jessica, and then um, they told us that we need to wear a mask to come into work. And I said, nope. And I left. So I got a different job and I started cutting trees with my uncle had a tree trimming business and I started cutting trees. And like it, and I moved in with my brother at the same time. And so the cutting the trees, like I started being out in nature more. And I feel like it was had a major impact on me connecting to God, to reconnecting to God, like because of how dangerous it was. Like I would wake up in the morning and I actually started praying again because I knew that this day could be my last. Um, being 60, 90 foot up in the air, like it's more dangerous than police officers. And so I move in with my brother, and like a year after I move in with him, he flies down to Costa Rica. And I'm like, what? Like, what are you doing, dude? And so he comes back and, he starts listening to these seminars and he starts acting different. Like his way of being, he's like, I used to just kind of push him over, as a bigger brother or the oldest brother, I would just kind of push him over. And I noticed that I couldn't do it anymore. Like he stopped being a people pleaser. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I started paying attention. And I remember he was listening to an Awaken Life Live one night, and I heard Jonathan England speak about um, Bitcoin and how he was going to reinvent the monetary system. So I perked up, like I had made some nice income with cryptocurrency, and so long story short, my brother comes down here and he comes down here again and he comes back and he's like, hey, like that's the land of milk and honey, like there's so much abundance down there and it's warm. And so like during this time, like it started dawning on to me like that we're actually living in the end times, that we're living in the book of Revelations. And I'm like, wow. And during the last 3 years of me being in the States, like actually from 2012 on, I had been prepping, but from 2017 to 2021, like I started prepping really, really heavy. Like I
Mm.
had totes and totes of food in the basement. Like we were drying beef jerky in the dehydrators. We were drying apples, like fruits, buying oats, rice, beans. I had a nuclear gas mask. I had guns, ammo, all kinds of weapons. And I started training in martial arts, started shooting up on steroids. And yeah, and then Neil comes down there and he's like, yeah, like he's moving. And then he put his house up for sale. I'm like, oh shit. Like we were living out in the country, like it was beautiful out where we lived. And I'm like, well, I don't want to move back to the country. Like we had just planted two massive gardens. Like we had so much food that my aunt Laura and her two daughters and my mom, like we were giving away produce. We had so much. And I'm like, well, I don't want to move back to the city, like, because I'm prepping and I don't have room for all this shit. And I want to continue to prep. Like, I was living in a state of fear. And so I made the decision that I'm going to sell everything and get on a plane. And I didn't know where I was going to go. Like, I had heard from Jonathan through Neil, but I had never talked to him before.
Mm,
And I didn't even know who Kirk was until I came to Costa Rica.
wow.
Yeah. Like I literally came down here with a mosquito net and a one-man tent and with the intention of starting my life over. Like I didn't care. Like there was no going back. I didn't I how I made the decision was I like looking back, I know God used fear to get me here. Um, you know, and I'm just yeah, I'm really, really, really grateful. So
I
I've
can
been doing
feel
a lot
you.
of talking, so
Yeah. Um, Tell us about the journey of when you showed up here at Earthwaking.
okay. So I came to Earthwaking in September 2022, and you know, I didn't know what Earthwaking was. Like I knew it was a village, and I had heard what John's intentions were, bringing heaven to earth. I thought it was cool, but I had no idea what it meant. I had no idea of the work that was going on the inside, like the inner work. I had no idea. So it was a little bit of a shock. Like I got here and I started working in the garden, and like I remember they would have meetings that would last until sometimes from 8 to noon, and I'm like, what the fuck are these people doing? I had no concept of the inner work they were doing.
What are you doing? Get out in the garden.
Yeah, literally. I'm like, we need to prepare. Like, come on, let's go. And so that went on until uh, October of 2022. No, November. I think it was November. We went to do a border run to Panama and to get my passport stamped. And so on the way back, we got stopped in a traffic jam, like 35 minutes away from the village. And it was me, Christy, Vashon, and Chris. And they start asking like, all right, so who's responsible for this traffic jam? And I'm like, I am. And so I said, I have some things that I haven't shared with anyone ever before. And when we get back to the village, like I'll share. And so literally within 3 seconds, like 3 minutes of me sharing that, the traffic jam opened up. And we got back, and Christy took me through a massive, massive breakthrough of like sexual interactions that I had with my sister. Like I had just a lot of shame and guilt around what I had done when I was a child, and or a lower teen when I was like 10 years old. So like I just remember, and then the next morning after she took me through a breakthrough, I came to the round table and shared, and there was only like 13 of us at that time. And I just remember like weeping, and my whole body was shaking, and I wept, like I just wept. And I just remember like feeling such an overwhelming sense of freedom like I had never felt in my life. Like it was the most incredible experience that I had ever felt. And I'm like, wow. Like so my trust in the container in the community grew. Like I didn't trust anyone for the first 3 to 4 months. And as time went on, like I just started leaning in more and I started sharing more about what's going on with my emotions and, things that I had done in my past. I shared my dysfunction with animals, like sticking brushes up a horse's vagina and having goats lick my penis and jerking off dogs and um like just being cruel to animals, like tin canning them and taking a brush and just really like horrible things that I did as a child. And yeah, and through that, like I've found freedom like I've never experienced ever.
Thank you for being vulnerable and sharing those things.
You're welcome.
Yeah, a lot of people just keep them bottled up and never open up to see the power of what God can do, and when we allow Him in to repent about things that we've done that we didn't even know that we were doing. We were so angry and so upset as children, and we just didn't know, and
Yes,
um, so thank you for sharing that.
you're welcome. And I just want to share that if there's anybody watching this, and if you've ever done these kind of things or if you've ever experienced these kind of things, that there is a place on this planet that um, is an access point to your freedom, and that's Jesus Christ. And it's also people like Sarah, people like myself, people like Earthwaking Village, like the Earthwaking community that are supporting people and finding the peace that transcends all understanding and unconditional love and joy. So,
Hmm. So how's your journey been with Earthwaking now, like currently?
um, wow, where do I start? um, it has been the most incredible journey that, like, I feel like the past, since I've arrived here at the village, I feel like I've lived lifetimes. Um, and a lot of it is, excuse me, a lot of it is due to the transformation that we do here, like the transformational inner work. Um, like I don't know of any place on the planet where you can just be yourself and be accepted just as you are and be loved for who you are. Like here at Earthwaking, we say that the only job for you is to just be you. And like who wouldn't want that, you know? Like sign me up. So like it has been absolutely transformational. And Earthwaking University is by far the most transformational university on the planet. The Visionary Leadership Program, we're now in Visionary Leadership Program 4.0. And if you don't know what that is, like it, other than Jesus Christ, that program has transformed me more than the hundreds of books that I read. Like all those self development books, they are not shit compared to what Earthwaking University has. Like there is no comparison. And if you want to know more, reach out to me or Sarah and find out. Like I could go on and on. Like I don't know where you're at on time, but
We're
like
good.
um like the visionary leadership program, it transforms you from the inside out. Like in Romans 12, it talks about the renewing of the mind. And that is literally what happens as you go through this program. And the beautiful thing is you don't even have to be you don't even have to be a part of Earthwaking. Like this, you can use in your life wherever you are in the world, whatever you're doing. Um, your life will be forever transformed. And you not only will your life be transformed, but everybody that you touch around you and the environment that you're in will change along with you.
Yeah. This is a demonstration of God's redemption, it turning all of our shame into glory. You're not your past, and your mess is a message. All the things that have happened, you don't have to hide. He wants all of those things. He said the only thing that he wants is your suffering. We tend to choose those things all the time. Like, well, I don't deserve it. I can't do that because look at what I did. And he's like, well, no, I want that. That's coming home. You have a place here. You have a home here with me. And he loves you so much. He says you're mine, and it takes a very, very rare individual to be raw and vulnerable and open and share the darkness and shine a light on it for people to see so they can see Christ, so they can see transformation. And you are that, Dennis. Like,
Yeah,
you're,
and where I was headed, like before Earthwaking, I was a drug addict, and like looking back, like God literally brought me here because where I was going was hell. Like there's no doubt in my mind, like that is where I was going. And if I'd been in the States, like if I would have stayed, like I my soul, I don't think my soul would have had a chance. And so what Earthwaking has done and what the work has done here is like it has been an access point for eternal life, like bringing Jesus into my life and reconnecting and remembering. So I just want to encourage anybody, like if you're out there and you feel the call for something different, like it doesn't matter if you don't believe in Jesus, but if you have a if you have faith the size of a mustard seed and you take a next step and you just take action on that next step and you continue stepping, he'll grow your faith. And the possibilities are infinite. And eternal life is it's here. It's now.
yeah, there's nothing more important than that,
Yes.
like is our spirit, our souls. And so I just really appreciate you, Dennis. I appreciate you being here and sharing your beautiful story and earth waking and the power of Christ and redemption. And like we're here being living, breathing examples. And I love the picture too of you cutting down trees in the past, and now you've literally, I don't even know how many trees you've planted here at Grace 1 and Grace 2. And it's just, it's really beautiful what God can do through us, and so thank you.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
so much. And we met each other. Like we met each other here in Earthwaking, so
Yes.
like just even that transformation is so beautiful. Like,
Yeah, we didn't even I didn't even share that. Like so we just like February 1st of 2024, we made a covenant with God.
February 12th
And February 12th, yes. Okay, thank you.
at 4:30 in the
And
morning.
and Sarah and I met, and it's just been the most amazing journey. It's beyond my wildest dreams, like beyond anything I could have ever imagined. The woman that she is and who she is and her love for Christ, and it continues to grow. Like our bond, I feel our spirits just connecting to such a strong degree, and it continues as we grow in our relationship with God and Jesus Christ. And but yeah, we had our divine union ceremony February 22nd this year, 2025, and it was like we had zero money when we heard God tell us February 22nd. And where there was no way, God made a way. And he didn't use any of old world money. We actually used the banking system that I had heard John talk about in um early 2022. And so it's been just wow, like
It's been
holy
wild, yeah. And to see the community that pulled together, there was just every single person played a very beautiful role and pulled off the most beautiful wedding I've ever seen. Somebody made Henry, he made the arch, and John ordained us, and we had the whole family walking down together. And Phoenix, like, wow, like she put together like the whole wedding, like
yes.
I'm just, and they're just so, there's so many people and so many things that I could even just say right now, but it's like the whole entire family played a part and came together to make that day so beautiful. It was God working through every single person so their peace could shine in that moment. And it's way different than you'd ever expect it to be. It's beyond your wildest imaginations, because there is no expect, like, you can't put God in a box, and it was just really beautiful to witness something so beautiful and so sacred happen. And it's a covenant. It's not a contract. And I can feel the difference walking hand in hand with you. Like, there's no more of that, like, trying to annihilate people because of what they've done, or shame them for what had happened in their past. It's like you're literally loving them. I love you 10 times more because you tell the truth, to shine a line on it, to make a difference and say no more, rather than I'm going to hide in it and I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. There's a way different there's a way different type of breed, and that's a child of God, that's someone that's choosing to be like, no more. Like, I'm walking home and I'm letting
Yeah.
this go and I'm coming home to you, Lord. And it's like your walk is so beautiful to witness, and I'm just here to witness it and walk side by side with you home, and it's like, yeah, we're doing this, and that takes so much courage and so much strength. And I am a better woman walking beside you. So thank you, Dennis, for
You're welcome.
that you are.
You are welcome. I do want to ask you, can we put the links of our class in the description? Because every Saturday evening, at 5 p.m. Costa Rica time, we lead a divine relationships class. And you can actually join us on our journey of this covenant that we've made to God and to each other. So, and I also would love to have the Divine Union wedding video linked, um, if that's a possibility.
Well, yeah, you just send me whatever links you want, and I'll
Okay,
put it
cool.
in the chat. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being a part of this journey. Thank you, Dennis. Just honor, and it's been a privilege witnessing this. I even saw some depths in there that I haven't even heard before. So it's really beautiful. And number one, thank you, Lord. Thank you so much for this opportunity to give glory to you for changing our ways, for turning around to reconnect, because the only thing that matters is the connection that we have with you. Everything else is futile, and it's going to be washed away. So thank you so much for this opportunity to grow together and to shine a light in our darkness, to tell our story for your glory. And for whoever's watching this, you are so loved and you're worth it. There's nothing that you've done that can't be forgiven. Jesus is everything. He's king, and he loves you and has wiped the slate clean. It's already done. So if you want to walk home, there's pathways and support for you in the description box below. Till next time.